Alright, so for 54, I crossed out equations because these are not equations. This is a typo. So which of the following expressions have excluded values? Okay, so excluded values are values that make the expression undefined. In this case, it's any one that would make the denominator 0. So A, when you factor it out, you get x minus 9, that quantity squared. So 9 would make the denominator 0, so that one has excluded value. It has one excluded value. B doesn't have any because there's no x in the denominator. C, 9 would make the denominator 0, and D, 0 would make the denominator 0. So those three have excluded values. For number 55, it's asking which one has at least 2 excluded values, so 2 or more. So as soon as we find 2 different excluded values, we pick that one. So the denominator on the right side is x plus 5 squared. The only excluded value on letter A is negative 5 because this gives you negative 5 and this gives you negative 5, right? So that one, we're not going to choose that one. For B, this one is 5 and this one's negative 5. So that one has 2 different ones. For C, this is 0 and this is 0, so that's the same excluded value. For D, this is negative 5 and this is 0, so that's 2 different excluded values. So 56, when you're solving rational equations, the first thing you do is name the values that make the denominator 0, because those would be your excluded values. So for this one, x cannot be 9 over 4, because 9 over 4 would make this side 0 down here. And for this one, we would say negative 4, because if x is negative 4, the denominator would be 0. So kind of keep this, put this aside, and we'll check our answers with these two numbers, okay? When the structure of your rational is like you have one fraction equal another fraction, the easiest way to solve that is to just cross multiply. So we're going to multiply these two together and these two together. So that would give you 9 times 2x plus 8 equals 4 times 4x minus 9. And then we're going to solve it that way. So this is 18x plus 72 equals 16x minus 36. Okay, because remember you have to distribute to both, not just the first one, but to both of them on both sides. I'm going to subtract 16x and subtract 72 from both sides. So that's going to give you 2x. That's gone, equals negative 108. So x, when you divide by 2, is negative 54. Okay, that's different from what I have on the answer key because I multiplied wrong on my paper. Okay, so this is a correct answer. Alright, so for 57, I factored the denominator on the right side. And so the excluded values for this are x cannot be plus or minus 8. And then the LCD is the product of x plus 8 times x minus 8. Because you take each of the factors, if it appears at least once, you write it down. So x plus 8 and x minus 8 are the only two factors. And so that becomes the LCD. So I'm going to multiply LCD by each term. So let me just change the color a little bit. So x plus 8 times x minus 8 times, and you could put it over 1 if you'd like, times negative 6 over x minus 8 plus x plus 8 times x minus 8. And I'll do the right side on the next line just because I'm running out of room. Times 4 over x plus 8 equals, and then x plus 8 times x minus 8 times negative 2 over x plus 8 times x minus 8. Okay, so you go through now and you cancel any factors that are common. So for the first term, x minus 8 and x minus 8 is gone. For the second term, x plus 8 and x plus 8 is gone. And for the right side of the equation, both of them are gone, both of them are gone. Okay, so what are we left with? We're left with negative 6 times x plus 8 plus 4 times x minus 8 equals negative 2. Distributive property. I'm distributing the 4 now. So I'm going to combine the x's, so you get negative 2x. Combine the constants, I'm going to get negative 80. So we're going to add 80. So negative 2x equals 78. And so divide by negative 2. Just do that right here. X equals negative 39. And that one's okay because it's not one of the excluded values, so that's your final answer right there. Alright, so for 58, I factored the denominator on the first term, and I got this right here. So I know that the excluded values are plus or minus 3, because those two would make the denominator 0. And the LCD, you take each factor, even if it appears only once, and you write it down. So here's your LCD. So now we're going to multiply the LCD by each term. So I'll start off with, oops, change the color, x plus 3, x minus 3 over 1 times 12 over x plus 3, okay, like that, and then minus x plus 3, okay, over 1 times 2 x minus 3 equals x plus 3 times x minus 3 over 1 times 9 over x plus 3. Okay, so you go through and you cancel out any common factors, so both of them on this term, x minus 3 right here and x plus 3 right here. So what do we have left? On the left side we have 12 minus 2 times x plus 3. On the right side, 9 times x minus 3. So distribute the negative 2, then 9x minus 27. We're going to subtract 9x. And so that gives me, and then combine these two, so that's going to be negative 11x plus 6 equals negative 27. We're going to subtract 6. So we have negative 11x equals negative, that's gone, negative 33. Divide by negative 11. So we get x equals positive 3. Well, the problem with that answer is that at the beginning, remember, x cannot be plus or minus 3. And the only answer we got was x equals 3. And it doesn't work. So this one has no solution. For 59, remember that this is the power and this is the root. So when you write it in with a rational exponent, it's x to the 7 over 9. And that's it. For 60, remember again, this is the power and this is the root. So we take the fourth root of 256, and then whatever we get there, we're going to cube it. So the fourth root of 256 is going to be 4. And so 4 to the third power, that's 64. For 61, first off, because it's a negative 1/4, we're going to take the fourth root of 256 over 81, because the negative changes it to the reciprocal. And so that's going to be fourth root of 256 is 4, and fourth root of 81 is 3. And it doesn't reduce anymore, so that's that. For 62, it says which of the following are equal to. Well, we know that q to the, when you have power to power, you multiply. So this is going to be q to the negative 6 over 5, because it's 2 over 1 times 3 over 5, so that's negative 6 over 5. And notice that none of the answers say that. So you have to think of different ways of writing this. Well, I can change this back to a radical. I could change this to a radical, and it would become fifth root of q to the negative 6. So fifth root of q to the negative 6. Now, this one here is supposed to be a q. That was a typo. So that's one of the answers. But since this is multiple response, it could have more than one. So anytime you guys see multiple response, look for more than one. Okay? So I know it can't be A, because no matter what, you can't, simplify that. So you have, to make it a positive, it would be 1 over q to the 6 over 5, like that. And, oops. So 6 over 5 could be written like this. Fifth root of q to the 6, like that. And so I have 5 q's inside the radical, right? So one of them would come out, because I need groups of 5 in order to come out of this radical, because it's a fifth root. So one of them could come out, and then I still have one left over because I have 6, and that one stays inside. And oops, no, it's a q. And so that answer is this one right here. And those are the only two that are possible solutions to this. So 63, I need groups. I just combine them to a single radical because they both have index 3. So this is, let's see, 32, you can rewrite it as 2 to the 5th power. That's 32. And 56 is, you could have that as 7 times 8. Okay, so 7 times 8. And 8 is 2 cubed. So 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. So you can simplify, put all the 2's together. So there's my kids. 2 to the 5th times 2 to the 3rd, that's 2 to the 8th, times 7. And so they come out in groups of 3, right? So with 8, I have 2 groups of 3. So I have 2 groups of 3. So this is what I'm talking about. It's 2 to the 3rd, like that. Oops, that's a 3 right there. And then I have, let me see if I can move this over. Yeah. And then 2 left over, right? So that's going to be there. And then the 7. Don't forget the 7. So this comes out as a 2. This comes out as a 2. And then inside the radical is 4 times 7. So I've got 2 times 2, 4, times a cube root of 28. And that's the answer for that one.